Hello, everyone.
I can see David's brain get angry, like wrinkle in time.
Subpar product. We're better than that.
You are listening to the next episode of
Marshall
Dr.
Street
Dre
Podcast.
and Snoop Dogg.
Yep.
That is going to be our special guest for today's. Yes, we got
Yes,
them. We got them.
Dre's in the building, I believe.
Yeah, I'm Stu. I'm the sound engineer here at Marshall Street Studios.
I am Bennett, the Marshall from Marshall Street Studios.
And I'm Davey. I'm the guy behind the desk, also the facility manager.
And today we're talking about shit we got into when we were young.
Yeah. Bands,
Music
influences.
specific, not drugs.
Yeah. That's a
Although
whole
that
nother
may
podcast.
be mentioned.
Yeah, bands you're into. Let's start things off. Stu, give us your top 5 desert island records.
Top 5 desert. Oh, 5's hard.
Yeah, 5's
All
hard,
right.
isn't it?
I'll go with.
It's always. I find like my top 5, my top 10 maybe
Sweet.
blur into
Cut
each
me
other.
off then. Nah, it's good.
Yeah, like top 10, depending on emotion, how you're feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's so dependent.
Yep.
Look, I'll give you a few. Death Cab for Cutie, Narrow Stairs is
Oh, wow.
a massive
That
album.
didn't make my top 25.
Absolute massive album. I love. There was another one in my head that I forgot.
Transplants.
Transplants is a big
Self-titled.
one. It wouldn't be in my top 5. It is a great album.
It's in my
though.
top-
You
Ooh.
want albums that kind of can change with your emotion, like that you can listen to, like at most times.
Are you going to tell me how to enjoy my top 3 records?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Look, Wilhelm Scream, Career Suicide's a massive record.
Haven't listened to that from start to finish.
Fucking awesome. I don't know. There's others, but you know, I listen to a lot of music. I don't like. See, these guys here in the studio love listening to shit on repeat, and I can't do that. So
Hey, I don't like listening to shit on
you don't
repeat.
like listening to music.
I do like listening to music. I just
I-
just listen to what everyone else
I'm
puts
pretty
on.
sure that was
Over
a quote
I just
that
don't
came
complain.
out of your mouth. I don't listen to music.
I listen to shit on repeat. Like when I'm feeling a fucking track or record, I smash that.
Don't worry, I know.
Like,
Take me as you please, anyone.
actually, Escape the Fates fucking EP. First EP was fucking legit with Ronnie.
EP or album?
Dying is your latest fashion.
Yeah, it's an
Is that-
album.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's full length.
Yeah, that was
That
sick.
is a cracking
One of the
album.
Blink ones would have to be up there. Enema of the
Yeah,
State.
I love Untitled by Blink. That's fucking awesome. That album.
So today's topic is we're talking about LimeWire era music
Oh, yes.
and
Kazaa.
That's included.
what that meant to you guys when that era was going on, your age, what was
okay.
going on in your
Kazaa
life,
was
stuff
before
like
LimeWire.
that.
Kazaa
it?
was before LimeWire.
And even before that was Napster. Because that's when
I had one called iMesh. I had that. That was another.
I was
just, like,
in the States in
sharing.
this. In like 99, 2000, I was in the States. It was Napster. That's when Napster popped.
Oh, I could
I
talk
remember
about
it.
that.
Matty Zoll had it on his computer, and yeah, it took like 4 days to download a song and shit.
Yep. You'd have to unplug the phone line plug it
Yeah.
back in. And then you'd fucking, if you went overtime, your mum would crack. Well, maybe just mine, but my mum would fucking lose
It's
it. because-
dedication though,
Oh,
right?
I'm-
To the cause.
I made a whole mix CD of tracks that I downloaded, and it was like the better part of a month to collect. I think it was 10 or 11 tracks. First song I ever illegally downloaded was AC/DC, Highway to Hell, followed by Slipknot, Wait and Bleed,
God,
and then
that's a
Eminem,
good
My
song.
Name Is.
Yeah.
Those 3 tracks were tracks 1, 2, and 3 on Ben's Mix Volume 1.
I've still got my Stubbs's tracks. I've got like 12. I made 12 of them, and I recreated them into Spotify playlists so that I could
That's
listen to them
decent.
again. And tell you what, it's a fucking throwback. It's good. It's good times. I can read some of them out to you if you like. Anyway, keep talking and I'll find them.
Yeah, fuck, downloading the internet. That was Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire. That was like having unprotected sex with the net. Like you knew as soon as you got as soon as you downloaded one song, 300 viruses came with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that no, yeah, 100% that. That was like during the teachings of the internet. It was
Yep.
like, now this is how you get viruses, and
Yep.
every kid immediately went and downloaded LimeWire or
Yeah,
Napster.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, and you'd click on shit.
Oh yeah.
Of course you
and
would.
you download like film clips. I had a mean collection of fucking film clips.
Yeah.
I used to just spend
Yeah,
time
I remember
downloading
Matty
them
Zoll used to
all.
always do that because, fuck, I could just like go to his house and he'd have just
Yep.
video clips.
Yep,
Fuck,
that
it
was
was
me.
So here's a few tracks off the old Stubbs' track volume 1. All I Want, The Offspring.
Ooh,
Started
big.
off with
What
a
year is
banger.
this? What year are we talking?
I would say
2000?
that this is probably 2001 because it has Roll On by The Living End, and that wasn't out till 2001.
That's a big track.
Deadly Like, 28 Days, Millencolin, NoFX, MXPX, all the classics, Unwritten Law, Rage Against the
Fuck,
Machine.
they were sick. Unwritten Law.
Renegades of Funk, which is a massive track by Rage. Break Stuff, Limp Bizkit, you know.
Yeah, that
it's
was on
just
one of my first mixes.
bangers after bangers. Crazy Town made it with a song called Toxic.
Wow, Crazy Town. They toured, I think, not too long ago, like 4 years ago or something, a lot more recent than they had any right to tour Australia.
They were one of the shittest new metal bands that came out of that phase.
Yep.
They weren't good.
Did they have Butterfly?
Yeah. Like that helped them get played on radio and then just all of their other songs just
So
weren't that good.
What about
us-
TRL, actually? Sorry, while we're in this era, did you
No,
guys watch
it wasn't
TRL?
Australia. No, we didn't have it.
See, that was
So we
video
had
clip
Channel
central.
V. Channel V. Channel V was that
So-
for me.
During this time when you're downloading this music, all right. So take us back there. What was going on? Where were you living? What year were you in? What was going on?
Well, I used to always rip all of my CDs. That's why I have such a big music library still. It's because I used to rip them all and put them into Winamp for those playing at
Winamp,
home.
yeah, that was dope.
Really
I
whips the
remember
llama's
that.
ass.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was good. So yeah, you just used to, and it was so basic. Like to listen to the song, you couldn't just keep it in a library. You had to drag the track from the folder into Winamp to actually play
and you
it.
had to label them
And-
all properly.
And it was so easy to accidentally clear the playlist. So you click the button, you'd be like, "Fuck! I have to import them all back into Winamp again."
I
Anyway.
remember during that time, the first iPods kind of rolled out a few years after that.
Yeah.
Like the very first
I
one
think
with the
that
actual
2004
roll.
was the first iPod. No,
So-
earlier than that.
I reckon it was early, yeah,
2002.
that 22.
Fact checker, can you
Yeah, when
find
did that
out
first?
for us?
Yeah. Anyway, while that iPod was out, there was a fucking dude at the school I used to be good buddies with, Jeremy Fitzpatrick. Shout out if you're watching this. But he came up, he was listening to tunes, and his idea or thought was this. He goes, I just want a device where I can think of a song and then stream it and play it. And I remember
You
I
wouldn't
went
have
to him,
used the
I was
word
like,
stream.
no, or just I can get it, or it's
Play
probably
it.
downloaded or something.
it, yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, and I can just listen to it. And
know
I'm
what's
like,
funny?
that is
Yeah.
the stupidest thing ever. That will never, like, how are you going to get wireless
Yeah,
internet?
exactly.
How could you get the internet onto this? Like, this makes no sense.
Oh,
And then look at us now. Look at me now, Mom.
Nat,
First iPod.
I'm going to say 2002.
2000.
Ooh, October 23rd, 2001.
Oh,
Fuck.
closest without going over, so that goes to me.
No, you went over.
Well, it's like golf.
Fucking, it's funny that we like talk about terminology because my dad still asks me to record songs from the internet.
Awesome.
Goes, can you record it for me? I'm like, that's not what happens,
But sure.
but I'll do it anyway.
My mum once, she's still never used a phone, doesn't understand, and she shouldn't. Like, she knows she shouldn't, and she doesn't bother even trying
Good
to
on her.
learn.
That's-
but
yeah.
someone told her once that she needed a phone, so she's done some research, and she's like, I need to get the internet on my fucking phone. So she's asked if she can get one of those, a USB, like the Telstra USB dongles, and a phone, and if she could plug the USB into the side of the phone, if that would give her internet on the phone. I'm like,
Good effort.
just don't even go. Don't you've got
Don't
so
even
much.
get one,
Yeah,
please.
please.
Well, it's like points for enthusiasm minus points for application.
But, you know, creativeness, that's
Yeah.
a plus, you know. Oh, fuck. It's like the rat with, like, the pigeon stapled to its back from The Simpsons. Oh, fuck. That's funny, man.
What about you, Davey?
Yeah. Well, because you're younger than us. Well, I'm the
Yeah.
oldest. I'm 31, nearly 32.
I'm the youngest. I'm 23.
Lies.
For me, LimeWire, I don't know. Yeah, those days it was a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green
Amateur
Day. You know,
There's a lot of mislabeled videos on LimeWire.
Yeah.
That was a classic move. I remember trying to download a Rufio song, and instead it gave me October Nights by Yellow Card. So either they did that, like they uploaded the
Oh,
song
that's clever.
under another band name, which bands absolutely did,
Yep.
or one of their fans loved them enough that wanted everyone else to hear that song.
Yep.
So they created the file name as Rufio.
That
So
was
either
really-
way, that's really cool.
It's
for the,
really clever
yeah.
too.
I literally had never thought of that.
Who's the dude? Who's that band who blew up off MySpace?
Arctic Monkeys.
Really?
Yep.
Shit.
They were the biggest band to capitalize off MySpace. So they essentially, I could be wrong here, but they I know I'm right here when they released demos, right? They created demo CDs, which all bands did back then. And this would have been probably 2007-ish, I'd say, 2006, 2007. No, their album came out 2006, so it probably would have been
Before that,
2005. So they would burn their singles to a demo CD and they just hand them out at shows and whatever. But they also used MySpace and they had their MySpace profile, and somehow they were just the band that blew up on MySpace, and everyone would look for their shows because they played regularly in Sheffield and surrounding areas in London and shit. And they just blew up and they'd sell out their shows. They'd have like 600 cap venues, like equivalent to like the Corner Hotel and shit. And they'd sell them out and they hadn't even released an official release yet. It was all demo music. All their stuff on MySpace was demos. All their stuff on CD was demos. But it spread over the internet and
just hacking
they would sell
culture.
out shows. It's
That
crazy.
really is. That's recent history of music now. That's not how it's done now. So that's like you'd classify that as history.
But how quickly things change, though. Like that was such a brief period in time.
But it's, yeah, I just look at that as the same way as just hacking culture attention. Like for that, well, MySpace was hot. It's where fucking everyone was. Like if,
So you
if you
gotta
found a way to
capitalise.
hack that attention and little ways to get more of the eyeballs on you. It's like anyone who played Instagram in fucking 2009 super well or Facebook in 2007. Like that's just where there was a lot of attention that you could leverage easily. And if you went about it in a nice creative way and fucking found ways to drop stuff differently, you're in with a great shot to be exposed to a huge audience.
On the flip side of that, we on the flip side of that, we now have the exact opposite effect of that, where you have to be readily accessible to even stand a chance. And with that, there is so much oversaturation that if you're starting out, and you might be real good, doing the SoundCloud thing, doing the Spotify thing is not going to get you there anymore, just because there is so much content out there that it's
Yeah,
hard.
it's funny. I always think about, like, when you were saying that, I think of the counterculture stuff that's happening as well. Like,
I can't.
it's not changing.
Okay, cool.
I think of the counterculture stuff that's happening, like people are releasing cassettes again. Like,
I mean,
it's just so
yeah.
cool in some scenes to release a cassette tape.
Yep. Actually, fact checker, can you check this? I've been saying this like it's facts for a couple of months now. We should check it out. I'm pretty sure last year, 2018, in Europe, was the first time that physical sales have outsold digital downloads of music in history.
Really?
All right, give me a minute.
Cool.
Well,
But even
yeah.
on that, like, and I look at it, it's interesting you see it that way. Because I look at it as, although, yes, it's definitely, because everyone's got access to put out their tracks, yes, it is oversaturated. But I also just think the fucking market is the market. Like, if people listen to your stuff and it's good, yeah, it might take a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, it's not up to someone else to decide if this track is like, the market decides that. And the market is the fucking market.
I wonder what the ratio is, you know, in terms of bands that make it these days. I wonder if it's more or less. I would have to say it's more.
More.
Yeah.
Hugely more.
Yeah.
In fact, there is, if you think about it, I reckon if you took the 25, bands number 25 to 100 in the years 95 to 2005.
Yeah,
like
okay,
bands 25 to 100.
Yeah.
I reckon if you matched up their income, you would find YouTubers and Instagram influencers ranked 500 to 550 today make more than they did.
Yeah. Fuck, it's just crazy. Like yeah, and saying that, it's funny. I like, for some reason you made me think of the hottest 100, and I think of like 1999 and stuff, like before internet was like a big thing, and you would regularly see probably about 10 bands that have 3 or 4 songs in the countdown. These days, you probably only see 1 or 2 that have multiple songs. Well, not 1 or 2, but not as
it's not
many.
as-
You know what I mean? Like
No, I'm feeling you.
yeah. So and I think the way that we cycle through music these days, because of the accessibility, means that we listen to music differently.
On top of that, so physical album sales significantly better than digital ones, but that's not because people, according to Forbes, that's not because people are more invested in physical sales. It's because the rise of streaming services like Spotify mean that you're not buying stuff digitally, but so physical sales have now
Okay, right.
overtaken
so streams
digital
doing that.
sales by a lot.
Nice. All right, so I wasn't fucking wrong in saying that. But and even in that, I think there's something. The way we consume music has definitely vastly changed. Like people, think about it. In like '99, genres stuck together a lot more tightly. Like if you were fucking listening to Park and Biggie in the '90s and you're into hip hop, you didn't fuck with the alternative crowds or the fucking emo kids.
No.
Like there was no crossover.
Yeah.
These days, people go for a run and listen to fucking My Cam and then Tupac and then fucking Alexis on Fire,
Yeah.
followed by Ed Sheeran, and all in that order. Like people are open to
Yeah.
blending their musical tastes.
And there's a funny thing like that you say that as well, because the ability for a song from past to get into someone's playlist is way more now as well. So,
Yep.
so what I mean by that is if you imagine, let's say a Paul Kelly song, right? So he did that feature song with Luca Brasi where they covered his song and he featured in it. Oh no, it was AB Original, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So through that, people found Paul Kelly songs. And all of a sudden, he starts popping up in all of these playlists. You know, his music wasn't relevant. I said elephant. Relevant before he did that cover with them, right?
Yep.
And now all of his songs are getting featured in playlists and stuff that, you know, he wouldn't have even appeared in.
I got a great example of it. Africa.
Oh, Toto.
The internet picked up that track on a fucking meme, and yet now in 2018 they headline Falls Festival all across the country. It's because one track that the internet grabbed and was relevant now to kids and memes. I guarantee you, every kid in the audience didn't know who the fuck
Nah.
Toto are. They don't know any other tracks.
Yeah.
They just knew that track Africa was on lots of memes.
Yeah.
Bag Raiders, when their
Yeah,
track Shooting
yeah,
Stars
yeah.
got picked up in
So
the
that
meme
returned.
circuit, that suddenly they're relevant again.
Yeah, that song was from like 2006 or 2007 or something,
Yeah.
even earlier,
2000
2004 maybe.
I think 2007. Can you check when Shooting Stars by Bag Raiders came out, please?
Just
Like-
going back on the talking about like how alternative bands wouldn't fuck with like people that were into hip hop and whatnot. I remember that being like a large part of schooling was what music you
Yeah.
listened to
I used to get-
to find
Yep.
who you hung out
Because
with.
you defined your clothes.
Yeah,
And your clothes
it- yeah.
defined.
I used to
And
get
that's-
bullied so hard for listening to punk music.
Yep.
And it's like, I probably did kind of talk about it too much. Now that I think back, I was probably talking about punk music nonstop. So it probably was my identity. And so therefore, rightly so, maybe that I was made fun of.
But
it was
yeah.
your identity.
Yeah. And I'd look at the same way, like, there was dudes who, when I would wear this, like, black fucking jeans and a black t-shirt, a band t-shirt, people would fucking call you goths and emos and fucking what the fuck you doing, listen to all this alternative shit. It's like, yet 10 years later, when we're sitting here in fucking music studios doing the same shit, I can tell you, I've had a lot of those dudes who I went to school with come up and go to me, hey man, how cool is it that you fucking in the music industry?
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. I'm like,
And
hey
you're
man,
like, cunt, you made fun of
bullied
me.
me fucking 8 years ago because all I did was talk and love music. Now suddenly I don't deviate from that plan, and then you're like, oh man, this is cool. But yeah, it's funny how it pans out.
That's gonna happen with like most industries though. It's not just gonna be like, oh well, you're in the music industry now, so now it's cool. It's gonna be like, well, everyone was a fucking teenager, and there are dickhead teenagers. Most teenagers are dickheads,
And it
that's
prob-
just kind of how it's gonna be.
The fashion that goes with it as well, because I mean, it was a little bit of a thing, but it's way more of a thing now to see someone that doesn't listen to the style of music wearing a Metallica t-shirt,
Yeah.
an AC/DC t-shirt, or a Ramones t-shirt.
Yep.
Like, and they don't listen. They might, but they probably don't listen to the
Yeah,
Ramones.
it's more of a fashion
like,
thing.
I don't like the Ramones, and I listen to punk rock. Like, you know what I mean? That's probably blasphemous to say that. Something's going on with the camera. But yeah, I mean, like, you know,
It's not recording. That's what's going on with the camera.
interesting. Since the start?
No.
Yeah, it's doing the DSLR thing where it stops every 20 minutes. Just hit start again and it'll start again. DSLRs have a 20-minute time frame.
All right, well, we're back.
Annoying. Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny that, and then now it's more acceptable to be cross culture.
Yeah. Oh, and you
Like-
look at what some of the fucking hipsters are wearing these days, man, and they're getting away with murder.
Yeah.
Well, interesting about like the hipster thing is I don't fucking get mad about people's like fashion trend unless you're one of those fucking hype beast pieces of shit that's like wearing their parents' paid for clothes, pretending like they're making all this fucking money. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, my jacket's worth like $1,500. It's like, yeah, but you didn't buy that. Like you're 12 years old. But I try not to like jump on people's fashion trends because back in the day when you were like wearing punk rock stuff, I guarantee you there would have been like 20, 25-year-olds just being like, what the fuck's that kid wearing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even look back, I'm sure there are some photos of me that if they surfaced, like, would be like, fuck, I wasn't helping myself out wearing a lot of that shit either.
No, exactly.
Like, there's a lot of fucking studded belts, fucking fingerless gloves, big fucking mohawk.
Trolley pole thing.
You still have a big fucking mohawk.
Yeah, it's true. Like the studded belt over to the side though, so you'd have the clasp of it there, so that you still had the whole row of studs around the front.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fucking A.
Yeah, you went to a lot of effort.
Yeah, man.
Ball necklaces, remember them? Did
Yeah,
you
no,
ever
I
wear
never
them?
rocked them.
No? Okay.
Nah.
Must have been an Australia thing if you're in the States. I don't
Yeah,
know.
only the chicks wore chokers over there.
Yeah, right.
That's
I
like,
mean, like, yeah, it's just funny to think back on the actual access to music side of things as well, because you had to work really hard for it. And I can guarantee you these days, if you chucked those kids or any kids back then, if you chucked them into the way that we got music in the early 2000s, they wouldn't be fucked.
There was so much.
No,
they
no,
wouldn't
no,
care.
no, no,
They
no.
would. They'd find a way.
they would just be one of us.
Yeah, yeah.
We
It's-
found a way, so they would.
But with what they know now, do you think
yeah.
chucking them back?
With
But
what you
what,
know now,
if
but
you-
it's
if you-
like,
They'd crack the shit.
If you go back to like fucking making mixtapes via tape,
yeah,
are
if you
gonna
took me
hit
back
that
to the
up?
days when I had to fucking light a candle to have light, I'd be like, yo, Benjamin, fuck, this sucks.
Yeah,
You know?
that's so like when
Like if I had to go running a fucking generator outside to power shit, I'd be like, yo, take me back to the
yeah,
future,
but
man.
this is fucking 15 years ago, though.
yeah,
the internet's a fucking crazy
that's
creature.
all it takes. Like 15 years ago, from 15 years ago was like the fucking mid 80s, and it was
Yeah.
like burn a tape. Like you had to literally write a tape.
Burn
it. I don't know. I wasn't alive. Fuck you.
You had to download a cassette. Did you get influences from your siblings? Did you have siblings?
So I
they
can tell you how I got into the music that I'm into. My cousins. So they played music. One was a drummer, one was a guitarist / bassist, and one of them I think they both played in punk bands, or definitely one of them was in a band called the Geralds, who like this Green Day like rip-off band. They were fucking quite good, and we used to go over their house, every month or every couple of months or whatever, and I would borrow their CDs because they listened to the best shit. They listened to all the Epitaph bands like, Pennywise and Offspring and fucking all of that sick shit. Like, so I would just raid their CD drawers and just like take them home, burn them to the computer, take them back the next time, grab more. And I used to froth compilations because that's where you'd be able to find these obscure bands that you would never find anywhere else. And I think that kind of, I still really rate when a label will put out a compilation, and I don't see it happening that often these days.
It's true. It doesn't happen much. I mean,
Because
So Fresh ran it into
I guess
the
you
ground,
don't really
guess.
need it, do you? Because of the access to Spotify, and it like the equivalent now would be like this artist sounds like that
Yeah.
band, so you just click on them and just listen to it. But a compilation is
Definitely.
a really cool way to clump all these bands together,
Yep.
and you go, "This is the scene.
Yep.
This is the shit that I listen to now." Because
And I
it's
think,
like,
you just do it in a clever way. Like, obviously, you're not going to beat fucking Spotify in terms of fucking consumer distribution. They're always going to listen to that first because it's easier. But if you're a record label and you've got dope fucking artists, it's like, and you realize that people are buying more physicals because they actually like engage, like having something tangible. It's like, fuck, then once a year, you drop a fucking record that is your.
Yeah.
All your band's fucking a compilation. So instead of putting that out in like a compilation of a Spotify playlist where it's just going to get mixed up with everything else, go fuck, let's put out a compilation on fucking CD and on wax. Do two different covers,
Yeah. So going on that, the algorithms and stuff that Spotify uses to clump music together, because it's not like someone sitting there and fucking putting that shit together. It's a computer figuring out that stuff according to what genre tags it's got.
There's still people.
Do you reckon that it's like, because I find in the YouTube sphere, it's all about gaming the algorithm to get your video viewed. Do you reckon that's good? Like, that's going to be how music gets pushed, is if you're
It
better
is.
in the algorithm.
Yeah, the analytics side of things is
I
a
think if
big
you're playing
deal.
that game, you've lost.
Okay, so all right, so if you're trying to game the algorithm, then
If you
you've
think
already
your
lost.
music is so mediocre that you need to get a one up on someone in an algorithm that you can't control, that everyone else is at the mercy of the same algorithm, I think you've already lost.
Good input.
Yeah, focus on your craft.
Yeah,
Focus
man.
on
If
yourself.
your music is good, the algorithm, trust me, if people start listening to it, the algorithm's going to fucking put you
Yeah,
to the
you
front of the
don't-
line.
yeah.
But, like, I'm talking about, like-
that's its job.
I think it's with a thing like music that is a passion thing. It comes from you. It comes from your heart. If you're playing stuff to get it somewhere, then you're going to sound like someone else, and people are going to see through that. And you're going to notice that there's a lack of passion there.
yeah, and you'll just become a
Unless-
watered down version of the industry.
Correct. And I guess that's probably why, and it's been the same for even since the 80s, one-hit wonders. Like MTV created the one-hit wonder, right, in the 1980s. That's where one-hit wonders probably started to take off. Yeah, they had them earlier than that.
Just going back, biggest one hit wonder of all time. Do we know? Set a Guinness World Record?
Video Killed the Radio Star?
No, that was the first video ever played on MTV.
Correct.
I think it was My United States of whatever.
Really?
I think so. If we could fact check. Yeah, this is my United States of whatever.
Such a shit song.
I
that
mean-
was a comedian. though.
I
He was
remember
a
when
comedian.
my buddy Tyler Harris showed me that one at his
He's
house.
he
Loxton Street,
actually
Ivanhoe.
that dude is
What's it called? Liam something?
Liam, yeah. He is one of the people in Tenacious D's HBO specials. He is a character in that, and I don't know
Really?
which character he is.
Interesting.
Can't remember.
So if we're going on monetary stuff,
Yep.
like whoever, like one hit wonders that made the most money, we've got I'm Too Sexy,
Okay.
Oh.
made the most money, followed by Vanilla Ice.
Yep.
Chumbawamba's up there.
Yep.
Well, come on, that's not a one hit wonder. That was a big album.
And then just-
Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Tell us another song off that album.
Couldn't. I've got the album though. I think I only listened to that track.
Yeah.
Mickey,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Tainted Love.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a few up
But
there.
for one hit wonder, that's been covered a lot of
Who Let the
times.
Dogs Out is in the top 10.
Perfect. We got the record upstairs for a reason.
So anyway, with the old one-hit wonder type thing, that was obviously happening from then. But I think these days, one-hit wonders sound like each other. They'll probably get famous because they sound like another song, right? If you think of who are the main players in pop music, I could be wrong here, but you think like Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, fucking Ariana Grande and shit like that. There's other female artists that will get big. Like one that comes to mind is a song by a chick called Jess Glynn. I've never heard any of her other songs. I've heard that song, I'll Be There. And it sounds like that type of music. And she wouldn't have gotten famous without the others. So she is someone that a record label has found and has gone, this person's got talent. Let's see what we can do with them. Let's write a song that sounds identical to
Yeah.
those other artists. And of course they're going to fall through the cracks.
Let's try make a cookie cutter fucking die for what works in the industry.
And they're not going to last. And,
Oh, God,
and
no.
it's clearly a cash grab.
Yeah.
So
mean, of
I
course
think
it
that
is.
that's probably something that happens more now than back then. And I know the 80s had so much synth pop. And then I know the 90s had all of this techno with a chick singer and a guy rapper. Like, I know. And it's probably a very similar thing to now. But I think with the access to like Spotify and Apple Music and stuff and creating playlists, getting stuff that sounds like something and fits a mood playlist and stuff like that, I don't know.
Yep.
Don't talk shit about synth pop.
I'm not. I'm just saying there was a
He
big
was earlier.
saturation.
We're talking about the keytar.
Um,
Yeah. No, I fully agree. And I think, but yeah, I also think, as you said, it doesn't lead to longevity. I'm also a firm believer that the quicker you get to the top, the quicker you're going to fucking fall. Like, if you have a hit that you put together 6 months after being a band, I would bet a serious amount that you guys aren't at the top in 10 years. Because One, you don't really know the journey it takes to get there. You know, if you've been
Yeah, you
working in a
probably-
band for 10 years and then you put out an album that changes people and then you're at the top and you're touring, you're gonna fucking be there for a lot longer because you've done the fucking slot. You
And
understand
you get how
it.
it works. Yeah.
To counter argument that One Direction was put together because they all went on.
One Direction was put together by the
X
manager.
Yeah,
Simon.
they all went on Britain's Got Talent, and Simon Cowell put them together
Correct.
as a boy band.
Yeah, it's fully intentional.
They had
though.
never met each other before.
Yeah, so but that's like a record label forming a cookie cutter program to how to release music. He's gone from a record
Yeah.
label. He's gone. This will work with that and that. Let's just put it together. That wasn't them going, hey, let's start a band.
But they were huge until they couldn't stand it anymore. Like, so
That
much
was a
goddamn money.
period of probably 4 or 5 years.
That's a while.
But also that's
it?
that's someone big in the industry who's got fucking capital behind him, who's got connections. He's literally pulling the strings and all these people because he knows how it's going to work.
Are we just gonna stay on me? There we go.
I pressed the button. It didn't work. I've lost my privileges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so I thought that was interesting though. I thought that it was just like these guys hadn't put themselves together. They were put together, and then they were huge for a little while, and then they all broke up. And I think like Harry Styles is like really the only guy that's actually doing
No,
okay.
that's not true. That Zayn guy, I mean, I don't listen to it, but that Zayn guy's pretty big still, I think. But there's not many of them.
Do you guys remember that movie that MTV did back in the days in like 99, 2000 it was called Boy Band? And it was it was
Yeah.
kind of like it was a satire, like a takeoff on Boy Band. And they had the hit. It was you, plus sign, me, equal sign, us. I know my calculus. It says you
God.
plus me equals us. Oh, and it was like, so they went
yeah.
through, and it was basically all the like stereotypical boy band. They're like, you know,
just did it.
we need our bad boy. He's got his tattoo. We need our guy with the good looks. He's at the front. And it's like, you got to go to the skate park to find this guy.
Oh,
and then you got your front man, and he does not have
they
a
get
tattoo.
famous?
It's called Together.
Yeah, together.
spelt with a plus
Yep.
instead of the E.
That was really funny.
And it's described by IMDb as a movie that spoofs boy band like NSYNC, New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, etc.
98 degrees.
And it has a 5.5, which you know what?
Is that good?
Not
That's
terrible.
not. That's.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it's
bad, but it's not bad for IMDb. There's a lot worse than that. Shit, MTV put
Yeah, that was
together a
funny.
movie and it did
Yeah, and it was
okay.
really funny.
MTV have done a few good movies, though.
Back when
did
they were good,
Napoleon
though.
Dynamite, didn't they?
Did they? Don't ruin my fucking life. I'm gonna check that.
Yeah, I think they did.
Could be right. Yeah. What about
MTV
the
films.
Beavis
They
and
did
Butthead?
Jackass as well.
Yeah, the Beavis and Butthead movie. That was a
Yeah.
classic. Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
I am the great Bungholio.
Oh yeah. Yep. Napoleon Dynamite produced production company NTV Films.
Yeah.
Fuck.
There you go.
All right. Good.
Nice. How are we going for time? Do you still got time on today's show?
No, we wrap it up. We can keep going for
Yeah,
another 10 minutes. It's up to you.
35.
What do you reckon we wrap this up? I want to go down the live venue though. We started off with top 5 desert record islands, top 5 desert island records. Give us your top 2. Let's go around the circle. I'll kick us off. Top 2 live acts you've seen, where and why?
Oh, I got a good one for this.
I'm gonna go. My first, hands down, best concert I've seen was The Offspring at the first ever Soundwave. It was just fucking nuts. They were head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah.
The energy, although they were a
songs.
little past their prime, we'll say a little older.
Yeah.
They weren't as old as they are when they fucking tour now. This was like 2007. But they rocked a stage like they rocked like 20,000 people. Like it was intimate. Second was, I'm going to go down the fucking urban route here and go Nelly at Superfest. Nelly rocked that arena like it was intimate. And there was Snoop Dogg.
Nelly.
And I walked away going, Nelly was hands down the best performer here.
Dude,
by
I had
far.
tickets to Nelly in Geelong and I didn't go because I was like, fuck Nelly.
Yeah, man, he
it'd-
can rock
it'd be
a crowd.
Cracking show.
Yep. Put everyone else to shame. I was like, walked away going, by far, the
shit.
best person there was Nelly.
I should have gone to Nelly.
My 2 favorite shows that I've been to, one of which was Green Day's last show on their American Idiot tour.
Oh, was that? That was big.
That was fucking
was big.
huge. They played for about 2 hours.
Yeah, it was large.
And man, what a show! They had
Yep.
Chris Chaney come out and play a song with them.
The roof opened and it started to
Oh,
rain
man.
as Minority came on.
It was just one of those shows. Like I went to the first show on that tour as well, and it was like they were awesome. And I have a story with that actually. When we got there, we had seat tickets, right? So at Rod Laver Arena, we knew 2 of our teachers from high school worked there. One worked there as security, and the other worked there as, I think he was security as well, but on that day, he was ripping tickets. And you had to give out wristbands if you wanted to get to general admission. We saw him in there, and there was 5 of us from my high school. And we're like, fuck, he's in there. Let's see if we can get him.
Yep.
The good thing about, the smart thing by the ticketers was GA was a vertical ticket and seated was a horizontal. So it was printed differently. So you could easily see as
Right.
a ticket, as the guy giving out the wristbands, which one was
That is clever.
seated. Right? So we had the ones that were seated, obviously, like you could fucking see it. And yeah, we went in and he's like, "G'day, fellas." And he just gave us a wristband. And we were the happiest human beings alive. I think that was one of the happiest moments of my life. We looked like idiots because we were fucking jumping around, hugging each other. People that were walking past would have been like, "Dude, I got a wristband too. Shut the fuck up." Like, you're not that cool. Like,
No, they would be like, these kids are
Give
really
it a
excited to see
rest.
this band.
yeah, and that was awesome, and that show was good. Like that was with Simple Plan, and Green Day are obviously amazing live. So we loved
Wasn't
it.
there Jimmy Eat World?
The first one was Simple
Okay,
Plan.
I was at
So
the-
then the last one, which was the last show of their entire American Idiot tour, was this one, and that was
That was
unbelievable.
large.
The second one was AFI at the Hi-Fi Bar on the Sing the Sorrow tour.
Fuck, AFI.
Oh, man.
At the Hi-Fi, fuck, that was dope venue.
Yeah, oh man.
Is it
So-
still good?
Yeah, it was over capacity, 100%, because girls were passing out left, right, and center, and
right.
you couldn't walk through the crowd. And the lighting show, and just that album is just one of the best albums of all time. Oh man, it was just so sick.
So mine are gonna be pretty different. I don't have large ones like that. It would be like first one that I fucking loved, The Killers live. Like I know The Killers
Oh,
have been
yeah.
around
I love The
forever,
Killers, dude.
but holy shit,
Yeah, man. Hot
They've
Frost
got-
is a
they've
they
big
are
got
album.
old
tunes.
as fuck, and
Brandon
they
Flowers.
kill it live.
They've got song after song after
Yep.
song after
and
song.
they just got good energy. They got good stage presence. Like I saw them in Perth. Like we flew out to Perth specifically to go see them.
Really?
No
Okay.
shit.
Perth
Yeah, wow.
sucks.
I
If you're
love
from Perth,
man.
fuck
I
you.
love Perth.
Hold on, and this is just another question that we have to ask Davey about every live show. Can you give us a rundown on what drugs and narcotics you're on that night, please?
I had Perth, nothing. I was drunk, but
Oh, wow.
nothing. And then the second one was the Gang of Youths, but before they like fucking went to London and did their like big like American and European tour, like they'd just gotten big, and their lead singer David LaPepe is fucking.
Fuck, that's a sick name.
I know. He's actually like a true rock and roll. Like used to be like a heroin addict, like fucking like down, like has a fucking life story to tell. And he was like jumping into the crowd and like pouring champagne on everyone and fucking running around and shit. It was sick.
I've always wanted to see Andrew WK live. I reckon he would put
Yeah, I
on
reckon that would
such a
go
sick
off.
show. But fuck, yeah, I mean, Gang of Youths are a phenomenal band. Their songwriting ability is just next level. Anyway,
Yep.
that's me nerding out on them a little bit, but I think they're such a good band.
All right.
Nice.
Nice way to end the old podcast
Done.
there.
Yep. I think that's going to wrap us up for today's show. And we will see and speak to everyone next week. Peace. Enjoy.
See ya.